Your daughter's alive?
Yeah,
You're sure?
I'm positive.
You're like, swear on your life.
I swear on my life.
In December 2021, police in Manchester, New Hampshire, asked the question that should have been asked years earlier. Where is Harmony Montgomery? She was 5 years old, small, quiet, brown hair, bright eyes. A child who should have been starting kindergarten, losing baby teeth, asking for bedtime stories. Instead, she had vanished. No Amber Alert when she disappeared. No frantic 911 call from a parent. No immediate search through the woods. Just silence. And at the center of that silence was her father, Adam Montgomery. This is the story of how a little girl slipped through every crack in the system, and how the man who was supposed to protect her became the reason she was never seen again. Harmony Montgomery was born in 2014. Her early life was unstable. Both parents struggled with substance abuse. Like many children caught in addiction-driven households, Harmony entered the child welfare system. For a while, she lived with her mother. Then, in 2019, a judge awarded custody to her biological father. On paper, it looked like reunification, a second chance, a father stepping up. But Adam Montgomery already had a criminal history. Assault charges, weapons offenses, violence. He wasn't a stranger to police. He wasn't a man with a clean slate. And yet, despite documented concerns, Harmony was placed in his care. Adam was living in unstable conditions. At times, the family was homeless. They moved between shelters and cars. Witnesses would later describe chaos inside the home. Yelling, drugs, fear. According to testimony presented in court, the abuse began almost immediately. Harmony had a medical condition that affected one of her eyes, leaving her partially blind. Instead of receiving compassion, she received cruelty. Witnesses said Adam would mock her, call her names, treat her as a burden. Then came the violence. Prosecutors would later reveal that in late 2019, Adam struck Harmony in the head because she was having a bathroom accident in the car. She was 5 years old. 5. He allegedly punched her in the face repeatedly while the family was living out of a vehicle. After the assault, she stopped moving. According to testimony from his wife at the time, she believed Harmony had died from the injuries. What happened next is what makes this case so chilling. Instead of calling 911, instead of seeking help, instead of showing even a fragment of remorse, Adam allegedly hid her body. For months. Court records and witness statements describe a horrifying timeline. Her small body was kept inside a duffel bag, moved from place to place, stored in a car, later transferred into a bag inside a freezer at a temporary residence, then moved again. While the rest of the world continued as normal, Harmony's body was being transported like luggage. At some point, prosecutors say, Adam disposed of her remains. To this day, Harmony Montgomery's body has never been found. Let that sink in. There is no grave, no funeral, no physical place for closure. For nearly 2 years, no one reported her missing. No school called. No doctor flagged concerns. No agency demanded a welfare check. She simply stopped existing in official records. It wasn't until late 2021 that authorities realized something was deeply wrong. Questions began circulating about her whereabouts. Investigators discovered she had not been seen since late 2019. By then, the trail was cold. Adam Montgomery was arrested in January 2022, initially on charges unrelated to murder, weapons offenses, and child endangerment connected to Harmony. But as the investigation deepened, the narrative became clearer. Witnesses came forward. His estranged wife described the fatal assault. She told investigators that after he struck Harmony, the little girl made a faint sound, a moan, and then went still. She said Adam panicked, but not in the way a grieving parent would panic. He panicked about getting caught. Text messages, financial records, housing movements, surveillance footage. Prosecutors pieced together a grim picture of calculated concealment. In 2024, after a highly publicized trial, Adam Montgomery was convicted of second-degree murder, falsifying physical evidence, abuse of a corpse, and witness tampering. The courtroom heard disturbing details. The jury saw images. They listened to testimony about a child who had endured not just neglect, but terror. Adam did not testify in his own defense. Harmony's body was never recovered. The absence of her remains became one of the most haunting aspects of the case. It forced the jury and the public to confront the idea that someone could erase a child's physical presence and nearly erase her memory. But what made this case resonate so deeply across America wasn't just the brutality. It was the system failure. Harmony had been in state custody. Authorities knew her parents had addiction histories. There were documented concerns about Adam's violence. And yet she was placed with him. After she disappeared, there were no routine checks strong enough to detect that she was gone. A 5-year-old child was effectively invisible. Public outrage grew as details emerged. How does a child vanish for 2 years without immediate detection? How many warning signs were ignored? Could intervention have saved her? The Montgomery case forced New Hampshire officials to review child protection procedures. Lawmakers demanded answers. Agencies faced scrutiny. But none of that brings Harmony back. Psychologists who study familicide and severe child abuse often point to patterns: control, resentment, projection of personal failure onto a vulnerable child. In Adam's case, witnesses described explosive anger, drug use, instability, and a desire to dominate. Harmony was small, dependent, powerless, and she paid the ultimate price. There is something uniquely disturbing about crimes committed by fathers against daughters. Society is wired to believe that a father is a protector. When that role is inverted, when protector becomes predator, it shakes people at a fundamental level. Adam Montgomery didn't just fail to protect his daughter. He allegedly became the threat she should have been shielded from. During sentencing, the judge spoke about the cruelty of the crime and the unimaginable suffering Harmony endured. Adam received decades behind bars, effectively a life sentence. But even as he sits in prison, one question remains unanswered. Where is Harmony? Investigators believe her remains were likely disposed of in a landfill or remote area. But without a confession, certainty may never come. And that uncertainty lingers like an open wound. When people think of this case, they often focus on the brutality, the punches, the concealment, the coldness. But perhaps the most devastating part is the silence. A child who should have been loud. A child who should have been seen. A child who should have been protected. Instead, she slipped through gaps in a system designed to safeguard the vulnerable. Harmony Montgomery was 5 years old. She deserved safety. She deserved love. She deserved to grow up. Instead, her story became a warning about unchecked violence, about institutional oversight, and about how easy it is for the smallest voices to go unheard. And even now, years later, one truth remains painfully clear. The last person who should have hurt her was the one who did. If you like our content and want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button below.